Tommy Robinson is currently facing many difficulties while being held at HMP Woodhill. He was recently denied access to the canteen, where prisoners can buy essentials. This has prevented him from buying food supplements, raising concerns about severe malnutrition. Tommy's support team has alleged that this is a form of deliberate starvation, a serious violation of the basic human rights that all prisoners are entitled to. In addition, Tommy Robinson's visiting rights are also being blocked. He was promised a family meeting, but the meeting was suddenly cancelled at the last minute. His family was only informed by email at the last minute, while Tommy himself only learned of the news through a personal phone call. The fact that the prison changed its mind without directly informing him has raised many questions about the transparency and fairness of the visiting process. In response to these incidents, Tommy Robinson's legal team quickly stepped in. They have asked the prison authorities to provide a clear explanation for these unusual decisions. At the same time, the legal team is also considering appropriate countermeasures, including the possibility of legal action if violations of the law are found during the detention. The incident has attracted public attention, with many concerned that Tommy's human rights are being violated in the prison environment. Starting from the context of the incident, Tommy Robinson, real name Stephen Yaxley Lennon, was convicted of violating a reporting ban in an ongoing case. He was previously arrested while live streaming outside the court, which the authorities said could affect the fairness of the trial. This has sparked a heated debate between Robinson's supporters, who say he was simply exercising his right to freedom of the press, and those who believe his actions could undermine the justice system. The public response has been deeply divided. While some people have staged protests to demand Robinson's release, others have spoken out in support of the court's decision, stressing the importance of maintaining fairness in the trial. The government has also issued a message calling on people to respect the law and court decisions, while warning of the consequences of inciting violence. Turning to political moves, Robinson's case has become a hot topic in debates in Parliament. Some Conservative MPs have expressed concerns about freedom of speech, saying that Robinson's arrest sets a dangerous precedent for press control. However, many other lawmakers have argued that no one is above the law and that public order needs to be protected. The international response has been equally heated. Several international human rights organisations have expressed concern about Robinson's detention, saying that there needs to be more transparency in the trial process. In contrast, many other European countries have stressed the importance of maintaining rules against public nuisance and interference with judicial proceedings. Meanwhile, the media and social media continue to play a key role in shaping public opinion. Robinson's supporters have used social media platforms to call for global attention, arguing that he is the victim of political persecution. In contrast, mainstream media outlets have focused on the legal aspects of the case, stressing that freedom of speech does not mean breaking the law. The future of the case remains uncertain. Robinson is currently preparing for the next steps in the appeals process, while the authorities have maintained a tough stance on enforcement. The question is whether this will become a turning point in the wider debate about freedom of speech and civic responsibility in the UK.
Obviously, the Prime Minister's here to visit. Have you brought? Is one of the tractors yours?
Yes, yes, one tractor's mine. Yeah.
You obviously had the big protest in Whitehall on Monday. Do you just feel you're not being listened to?
We're not being listened to at all. That's why we feel we have to come and see him in person.
And what do you hope to achieve?
Hopefully there will be some negotiations on this new tax that's brought in. It's been brought in all of a sudden without any warning. They promised they weren't going to bring it in, and we just want to negotiate this a little bit.
This is the Prime Minister leaving now. Are you sad that you haven't had a chance to speak to him?
No, but I'm sure he can hear us.
Just talk to us! Talk to us!
Would you like him to stop and talk to you?
Well, he wouldn't stop, but yes, we would like him to stop and discuss the matter.
British farmers are facing serious mental health consequences as the Labour Party's proposed new inheritance tax threatens their livelihoods. Daniel Boomer, a 122-year-old farmer, has become a voice for mental health in the farming community after going through the crisis himself. The Farm Safety Foundation said it had seen an alarming 55% increase in requests for mental health advice and a 13% increase in calls to its helpline from worried farmers since the new tax was announced. Many farmers expressed their fear that the tax would rob them of the livelihoods and family heritage they have protected for generations. The mood among the farming community is a mix of resilience and deep frustration. "We feel like the government has completely ignored our voices," said one farmer. In a recent event, Prime Minister Keir Starmer was booed during a visit to a residential area, forcing him to leave in the face of angry farmers. They wanted to talk directly, but their call to talk to us was met with silence from the leader. Keir Starmer, when asked about the situation, said he was in Milton Keynes to visit a major housing project. "We have to strike a balance between stabilising the economy and investing in the NHS and housing," he said, asking whether the public wanted tax relief for farmers or prioritising the health service. However, with the tax expected to raise just £500 million, this figure is a drop in the bucket compared to the NHS's £192 billion budget, enough to run the health system for just a few hours. John O'Connell from the Taxpayers Alliance highlighted the contradiction in the current policy, with the UK giving more aid to overseas farmers than it takes from its own farmers. "It's unacceptable that the hard-earned money of plumbers, electricians, bar staff is being taken to fund projects far away that do not benefit the British people," he said. Farmer James Wright warned that the protest movement would not stop unless Labour changed its stance. "We are not looking to disrupt people or the food supply chain, but we are going to make sure ministers feel the pressure," he said. Wright hoped that the spring budget would bring concessions or at least a step back from the government. The story of a local farmer underscores the injustice they face. "My father was born in that house. My grandfather was born in that house. We don't see land as an asset to be sold. It's a family legacy. We work all our lives, live simply, earn below the minimum wage, and now we have to worry about a tax bill we can't afford." Labour argues that inheritance tax is necessary to reinvest in public services. But with thousands of farmers feeling betrayed and unheard, the crisis could prove a major test for the Starmer government in the coming months. "If they don't listen, we will continue to speak out, from London to wherever the Prime Minister goes," one farmer said. The debate over inheritance tax has become more than just a financial issue. It has become a story about justice, legacy, and the relationship between government and the farmers and ranchers who feed the nation. As they wait for answers from the government, farmers are holding out, hoping their voices will not be forgotten. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the latest updates on British politics and society.